Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. So, the British media is once again revealing exactly where its attention truly lies. The royal watchers across the internet are noticing the contradiction in real time in what many are calling another embarrassing media spiral. Several UK outlets spend days obsessing over Meghan simply because she did not publicly post a Mother's Day tribute online. So Meghan, who stepped away from the royal duties years ago and now lives thousands of miles away in California, somehow still managed to dominate headlines across Britain without even saying a word. So at the very same time, those same outlets were openly criticizing Kate Middleton, the future queen of the UK, for what commentators describing as boring, unsurprising, and forgettable public project that failed to connect with the public. So the contrast has sparked massive debate online. People are asking a very simple question. If Meghan is supposedly irrelevant, why does the UK press continue to center their entire royal conversation around her every move? So every silence and every social media decision. Critics of the royal media say the answer has become painfully obvious. Meghan drives attention, clicks, reaction, and globally interest in a way that nobody else inside the royal institution currently can. Even our silence became a headline. So the outrage began after several newspaper and royal commentators complained that Meghan had not posted anything publicly for Mother's Day. So social media quickly erupted with confusion. Meghan is no longer a working royal. She does not owe the British public holiday statement. She is living a private life with Prince Harry and their children in the United States. Yet the UK media treated her lack of post as if it were some kind of national emergency. Because, some outlets speculated endless about what it meant, while others accused her of intentionally avoiding public engagement. But while Meghan was being analyzed for not posting, Kate's latest project were receiving a very different, kind of attention, and not the positive kind Kingston Palace likely hoped for. So multiple commentators bluntly admitted that the public simply does not seem interested, and critics described the initiative as vague, disconnected, overly managed, and lacking energy. Some even questioned whether people could explain what the project was actually about in the first place. So actually that comparison triggered frustration among royalists online because it exposed something they have tried to deny for years. Meghan, despite leaving the monarchy behind, continues to generate international fascination effortless. Kate, despite being positioned as the monarchy's future queen, struggles to inspire the same level of excitement even with full institutional backing and constant promotion from the British press. So social media user pointed out how bizarre the situation has become. Meghan can stay silent for an entire holiday and still dominate headline across television, newspapers, YouTube discussion, and online debates. Meanwhile, Kate can launch heavily promoted campaigns supported by the palace PR team and still fail thoroughly to capture widespread attention. So that imbalance has become impossible for many people to ignore. So the criticism towards Kate also reflected growing impatience among sections of the public who feel the palace keeps recycling the same carefully controlled image without offering anything memorable. Because for years, royal media promoted Kate as safe, stable, and perfect future queen. But critics now argue that this polished image has become so overly manufactured that it lacks authenticity. Many younger audiences especially seem disconnected from the projects that feel overly scripted or emotion distant. Meghan, on the other hand, continues to attract attention because people seeing unpredictability, independence, and global relevance around her. So whether people support her or criticize her, they are still paying attention. And we can testify that because that level of influence cannot be manufactured through palace briefing or carefully staged photo opportunities. It happened naturally. So observers also pointed out the irony in the UK media constantly attacking Meghan while simultaneously depending on her for engagement. So every week there seems to be another article about her marriage, her lifestyle, her children, her appearance, her clothing, or even her silence. So royal commentators claim they want the focus to return to the working royals, yet they continue centering Meghan in almost every major royal conversation. The Mother Day controversy became another perfect example of that obsession. Meghan did absolutely nothing publicly, yet she became one of the most discussed royal figures online. Kate meanwhile was actively promoted through official channels, but discussion around her quickly turned into criticism and lack of charisma, lack of direction, and lack of public excitement. Some critics believe that the British media intentionally exposed the monarchy's biggest modern problem. The institution keeps trying to convince the public that Meghan or no longer matter while proving the exact opposite every single day. If she truly had no relevance, newspaper would stop building entire news cycle around her. Instead, they appear unable to move on. So the backlash toward Kate also intensified because several commentators openly admitted that her project often failed to leave a lasting impression. While pilot supporters insist her work is important, critics argue the messaging feels repetitive and disconnected from the ordinary people. Online reaction showed growing frustration from audience tired of what they see as endless PR without meaningful impact. Meanwhile, Meghan's supporters argue that she continued to hold cultural influence precisely because she stepped outside the royal system and built her own identity. Unlike the traditional royal structure, Meghan operates globally through media and independent branding. Supporters say that freedom allows her to remain dynamic while the monarchy increasingly feels rigid and outdated. And at the same time, criticism towards Kate exposed growing cracks in the media narrative surrounding her public image. For years, royal commentators portray her as a universal adore and beyond criticism. But the recent reaction showed that even mainstream outlets are beginning to acknowledge declining excitement around some of her appearance and project. So as the debate continues online, one thing has become very clear. Relevance cannot simply be assigned through titles or palace approval. Attention comes from impact, curiosity, and public engagement. Right now, whether critics like it or not, Meghan's continue to command that attention naturally. And the more the UK media obsesses over her while criticizing the future king, the more obvious that reality becomes to audience watching the entire spectacle unfold. Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.